Ladies and fucking gentlemen!
Okay, welcome back for part 2, and believe me, it gets even better than the last one. Okay, I'm gonna first start off with playing 222 through 239 approximately.
Because evolution is a lie, they need to back it up with likewise lies. Adolf Hitler once said, "Let me control the textbooks and I will control the state." Alright.
This is exactly why creationism should be kept out of science textbooks. It is not science and should not be taught as such. Let's play through about 328.
Alright, let's get a bit more technical. I'm now reading from a textbook, and it says, many organisms retain traces of their evolutionary history. For example, the whale retains pelvic and leg bones as useless vestiges. You can see those, the pelvis and the femur. Okay, so if you go to your high school and you find an evolutionary textbook, you'll still find this. They're claiming that whales evolved legs and became cows. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, but let's take this a little further. Those bones, the pelvis and the femur, are actually part of their sexual organs, and if they did not have those bones, they would not be able to create baby whales. So to claim they're vestigial is a lie.
First of all, the vestigial pelvis is a bone clearly designed to support weight-bearing legs. Furthermore, the fact that these bones serve a purpose does not mean that they are not vestigial. They have simply been adapted to a different purpose. In fact, the pelvis is traditionally where reproductive organs are located. So if they are still there, it does not disprove that the bones once held another purpose. Besides, the whale is not even close to the only example. What is your appendix for? It used to be used for digesting raw meat, but since we obviously don't eat raw meat anymore, it's not useful. Here, since you like to take part in experiments, try to move your pinky and your ring finger independently. For most people, including me, it's hard to do. You know why that is? It's because the pinky no longer serves a purpose since we stopped climbing, and that it is therefore being slowly incorporated into the ring finger. Also, your wisdom teeth, yeah, you know where I'm going with that. And also, it's really classy that all of his pictures have been clumsily edited in Microsoft Paint. So who knows where they came from. He doesn't cite the textbook that it came from. He just says, a textbook. I just like to point out that my own textbook, which is a biology textbook, it is the 7th edition of that particular series. It actually doesn't call those vestigial organs useless. It actually talks about what he's talking about now, but he said the textbook specifically talks about how they're not used for their purpose that they had before. I'll put up the title of the textbook I have in the corner because I don't remember it off the top of my head. Yeah. Okay, let's go through 410.
Evolutionists will claim that they can use the fossil record to determine what evolved from what. Allow me to demonstrate what an evolutionist would claim to be a successful diagram in showing the evolution of a horse.
I just like to point out that that diagram he shows is actually pretty damn accurate.
Okay, now allow me to show you the evolution of cutlery.
This one isn't.
Here you have what can be considered the evolutionary history of cutlery. As you can see, the knife slowly evolved into a spoon over billions of years, then into a spork, and then into a fork. This process took a very long time.
Okay, the point he tries to make here, albeit very clumsily, is that you can line up only any series of fossils that look similar and claim that one evolved into the next, etc. The problem is that there is a lot more going into diagramming of the evolutionary tree, not just morphology, but also, for example, genetic information, which is one of the key determining factors. Like you can watch Shadag's movie on mitochondrial DNA, which is very good. Also, the fossils must be dated let me try it again. Also, the fossils must be dated to be in a given sequence and must come from similar geographical ranges. Furthermore, his evolution of cutlery display really does not support or disprove evolution. The knife was in fact invented first, and over time it gradually changed because of small adaptations to it that were found to make it more effective. This is a lot like artificial selection in GM foods and stuff like that. It's essentially natural selection sped up by human ingenuity. Also, I'd like to point out one mistake he made in his own diagram of the evolution of cutlery. The middle spork actually has longer tongs than the spork closest to the fork. Good job on your little fuck up there. Let's play through about 424.
I would consider one of the biggest problems with evolution to be the fact that it discredits the intelligent creator in favor of blind chance. I'd ask you, how can blind chance create a seeing eye?
Well, his attempt at a pun is terrible. But that aside, he gives no reason why blind chance can't create a seeing eye. Remember, evolution has had billions of years to refine the eye through an incomprehensible number of generations. Furthermore, we have seen in species living today a clear sequence of complication in the visual organs in various creatures, ranging from the light-detecting eye spots of planaria all the way up to the complex and gigantic eye of the giant squid, which is about the size of a basketball. Also, the fossil record contains a similar sequence, ranging from the single-celled photosensitive cells to the complex eyes that we see in invertebrates. It could have happened like this, for example. The eye was at first nothing more than cells that detect light, evolving into cells that detect colors of light, and from there into multiple cells that each send separate signals to the brain. Eventually the brain would then evolve into to interpret these images as pictures, not just dots. The protective covering of the eyeball is simply a natural thing to develop for such a complex organ. Of course, this example is a gross simplification and probably entirely wrong, but it demonstrates that evolution of the eye through random mutation of the genetic code could make logical sense. I'll probably try to provide you with a link to a good movie. I think there's one. I think it's CDK 700. I think he made a good movie. I think that's what his name is. Oh, I'll just put up in the corner. Okay, let's play through 502.
Even if you want to go with that and say it just happened, here's the problem. If you believe that you were unintelligently designed, that there was no intelligent hand in your creation, then that means you are a biological machine, a slave to chemical reactions in your brain, which means you can't trust your thoughts. So, if you can't trust your thoughts, how in the world can you claim that what you know is truth? How can you believe in evolution and still claim that your belief is completely founded in reality, when in fact you can't trust your own thoughts? The only alternative is you were created intelligently, and that discredits the whole evolutionary theory.
Okay, it's not disputable that your thoughts are controlled by chemical reactions in your brain, unless, that is, you want to claim that every successful use of depression medication and every successful brain surgery has been an individual incident of God's intervention on your part. Even if you're a Christian, your thoughts are still chemical reactions, whether you like it or not. Furthermore, you as you know yourself, are the sum total of your experiences stored throughout these chemical reactions, and your thoughts spring from these and your natural tendencies. You are not a slave to your chemical reactions, you are chemical reactions. Besides, his argument evolutionists cannot trust their own thoughts is ridiculous. Chemical reactions are remarkably trustworthy, and an evolutionist's belief is clearly founded in reality because of the way the brain works, at least as far as anyone's can be.